Hi everyone. We welcome the edVentr community, which is joining us on this live session with Mr. Krishna Kumar. A very interesting
Hi.
topic that we are discussing today is on the fact that non-accountants, non-finance professionals, and entrepreneurs need to have basic understanding on the subject of accounting. And I've personally had this experience where you realize that when you're talking to the accountant or understanding the uh, uh, financial details or financial jargons, at least basic understanding of how you read your P&L balance sheet or the overall financial statement is essential and critical. And today we have Krishna along with us. Hi Krishna.
Hi, Sandeep. How are you doing?
Doing very good, doing very good. A background on Krishna. Krishna Kumar is a fintech professional with over 20 years rich experience in capital markets, mainly the treasury and investment management domain. Majority of his career span was with this organization called Credence Analytics, which is a software products company based in India. And as part of Credence, Krishna has delivered results through business analysis, pre-sales, implementation, and development for both Indian and international markets. In August 2019, Krishna took the bold step of moving on from Credence and being an independent freelance business consulting, which is, of course, a bold decision. And today he's actively exploring artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies to see how they can be put to use in banking, financial services, and insurance domain. So once again, welcome, Krishna. I mean, I personally am very excited to understand insights on the subject that we are about to discuss. And
Sure.
and you've been acclimatized with the accounting space. From what I understand, you've also implemented a lot of accounting based technology solutions. Where you grasp and gain the knowledge of accounting, and you've been dealing with people on the other side. So, how has
Correct.
your experience been working with finance and as well as non-finance professionals, especially with regards to implementing accounting-based technology solutions?
Okay. So, firstly, hi to everybody who is on this live stream and listening to the conversation. Let's hope the next about 25 minutes is interesting for and relevant for you all. Okay. So like Sandeep, you told, like you introduced, yes, there has been a huge amount of interaction with banking and treasury and investment professionals, during my experience. Okay. So while it has been predominantly a software company with whom I've worked, okay, so the only thing is that because we have been implementing software products, okay, what I've realized is that accounting is a very important tool for it has been very useful for me to actually understand the business. Okay, so whenever, so like you said that I'm a business analyst by profession, right? So to that extent, the important thing is for any software we need to go understand the customer's requirements, then we can provide a software solution. So in that context, whenever I've spoken to a banker or any of these people, okay, they are all experts in accounting. Okay, but what I've also seen that if I have to give a software solution, it's necessary to understand the, let's say, how a particular bank works. So to ability to read the balance sheet and try to figure out. So some banks may be very heavy on loans, somebody else very heavy on the deposits, things like that. So understanding the banking business or understanding any of these businesses, accounting has been great for me. Okay, so which is why I felt that we should try to convert it into some kind of a structured course, in terms of relating business to accounting and presenting that to people. So that's been my experience so far.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And there was this very interesting TV series that I used to watch. It's called the Silicon Valley, right?
Okay.
And it has this main protagonist who is starting his own company. He's a tech genius. He's a coding genius, and they are building a sort of neural networks based technology.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets the investors and he gets the first check. That is the first investment into the company. He said, what is the name? He gives the name of the product. That is the name of the product. He goes to the bank and he gives them the check that okay, deposit this to my account. So he's
Mm.
I mean, the guy may be a tech genius, but he was naive to the extent that he did not even know that he requires a company to have a bank account. Right now, this is and this is shown in a US based TV series, and a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, this is just an analogy, but a lot of entrepreneurs, even while they are running their business, right, do not have in-depth understanding of accounting, right? And you may not need in-depth understanding, but even at least the basic, and having the overview is essentially important. What, according to you, what do you feel, why do you feel that it is essential that entrepreneurs, non-finance managers should have basic accounting expertise if they have to grow or run their business or run functions in the organization?
Okay. So I think the example that you gave, Sandeep, is very relevant. Okay, of a typical technocrat. Okay, this has been my experience too, when I've spoken to a lot of let's say SME friends in India. Okay, so they are very clear. In fact, they are very categorical in saying that that we really are experts in our product. Okay, we understand our technicalities very well. So a lot of them, if it's a manufacturing sector, they come from the engineering background. And they are passionate. That's how they have decided to become an entrepreneur and start a product, etc. And I've also seen that many of them are excellent in sales as well. Okay, so they somewhere either have that native knack, or they have picked up some skills, etc. But then they are good in selling the product. I think where they fall short is in the financial perspective of the entire business. Okay, so you start talking to them about simple things like whether you should be buying a factory or you should be renting it out, or whether you should be taking let's say you want some funds, whether you should be borrowing or bringing it in the form of equity. What are the implications of all these decisions from a financial perspective? I think a lot of them are either not comfortable, or they are just not aware, or they think it's not important, whichever way. It could be any of the things. But I think that's where probably some basic understanding of accounting. So like you said, it is not about I don't see it as them needing to learn the debits and credits, okay, or exactly how to account. But accounting, the way I see it, is it's a language for financial transactions. So any business, okay, if I have to represent it financially, the only language I can use is accounting. Okay, so I need to be able to at least understand that language, be a little comfortable with that. Okay, at least understand that what is an asset, liability, income, expense. Okay, when I look at my business in the form of a P&L balance sheet, so the translation of business, instead of knowing my business in the form of my products and my services and my inventory, if I can also learn it from a financial perspective, okay, which accounting will help us to do, I think that's a huge positive for any businessman. Okay, and of course you have got professional accountants doing the details and making statements, but to have an intelligent conversation, understanding what they're saying, or asking relevant questions, okay, all those things I think can happen if you get your basics right. I think to that extent, I think it's really useful to get some perspective on accounting, which also is a stepping stone towards, let's say, finance is the next step, probably. Get your basics right, then finance, and things like that way.
Definitely. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs. They make this big mistake of assessing their financial position, or seeing themselves financially. Is that they restrict themselves only to the viewpoint of the cash flow. Right, a lot of entrepreneurs do this, who may not have the due understanding of how financially an organization works, or basic understanding of financial statements. What do you think can be the impact of that?
So I think a lot of decisions, okay, that a businessman has to take. So he has to take, he or she has to take decisions at multiple levels. Okay, so one decision is which product to make, or what should be the quality controls to that, or whatever. Those are all product or production related or design related decisions. Similarly, you've got sales decisions, HR decisions. Similarly, there are financing decisions that have to be taken. Okay, so there is that element of looking at that decision from a financial perspective, which is important. Okay, so if a person is not aware, so let's say that's what I was trying to say. So to give you a simple example, that let's say that my sales is increasing. Okay, so I've taken a decision that I want to get into a new market, and I see a lot of potential, and actually that is converting into new sales. Okay, but what may happen is that the cost may also be rising alongside that. Okay, the cost of achieving those sales, or it may so happen that the cost is rising at a faster pace as compared to the sale. Okay, so if I were to look at the P&L statement, I might suddenly realize that if sales has increased by 20%, my cost has gone up by 25%. Okay, and hence actually there is a dip in the margin, or maybe I've got into loss. You never know. Or what is the break even? We have covered that. Okay, there are things like this. There could be another thing, especially in today's world, where there is a concept of fixed versus variable cost.
Definitely.
Okay, so whether I should recruit a person or whether I should take a freelancer to onboard to work. Okay, what are the cost benefit? So these are all decisions. So I might end up just recruiting 10 people and then they are sitting on a bench and they are not really productive. I might feel that they are adding some value, but then looking at them financially, it may not make sense as compared to, let's say, getting a consultant for that specific job. So if you see, a lot of these decisions have financial implications. So if they're able to at least appreciate, so one, they may be able to draw it up themselves, great. Okay, if not, at least if somebody else is doing, let's say they have got a CFO is doing it for them, or at least asking the CFO to do that, and looking at have a conversation. I think these are things that will help. So I would summarize by saying a lot of decisions which have financial implications, okay, will get taken out or will get missed out if one doesn't have this grounding or this angle to look at the business, basically.
Definitely. You work with so many organizations, so many individuals. And as you said, you've come across people who do not have the basic understanding of accounting, but maybe running a business function.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, have you seen any impact when let's say a leader of a division or an organization who does not have optimum understanding of accounting, and there has been an error or a mistake or a misjudgment because of that?
So yes, it has happened. I mean, so while I can't name companies and things like that, but then yes, definitely, decisions. So I would put it like accounting and finance together. Okay.
Definitely.
So let's say, so the example I gave about entering new markets. Okay. So that is actually a live example where I've seen an organization entering new markets, spending a lot of money on marketing. Okay. And then suddenly realizing that, the sales projections are not working out. Okay, so to that extent, this is a financial control aspect, saying that how much I want to, so setting up budgets and ensuring that we are only spending within budgets, or even if there is a buffer, you're being cautious about it. So just being aware or conscious about this entire thing, okay, is the so-called financial part of it. And like I said, accounting is the language. So if you are aware about how to read your statements and what is it that the financial controller is trying to tell you, okay, it will kind of help you to take those decisions better. So there are umpteen instances, and I think today in the pandemic scenario, I think almost everybody is talking about managing their cash flows, isn't it? I mean, so the discussions are always around which company has got a good cash flow. So what is that cash flow? How am I supposed to look at it? Which may not have been even a question till yesterday, or even things like we are looking at organizations which are debt free, because the companies which have got huge debt, okay, they are not able to pay their interest because the sales are dipping. Okay, so all huge financial implications for organizations, which in a normal scenario they may not have been even thinking about. They might be just thinking about how to enhance their product, how to sell, and things like that, right? Now, a lot of decisions are along these lines. So it has a lot of examples and implications. I mean, even if you pick up a paper and read, I think there'll be, discussions around how the financial implications are hitting us and stuff.
Definitely. I mean, even in my experience, I have understood the need, of at least understanding basic accounts, especially to run a business, and it's imperative that you have a decent application of this financial knowledge when you're taking any business decision. Whether it is expansion, whether it is reducing an operation, whether it is hiring more people, and in which area. I think when you see it in a holistic manner, inclusive of what is the financial impact, that decision is much more sound, and has a much better impact in terms of the functioning of the organization. Now I've seen that there's a trend, even in the country that we are, Mauritius. There are so many people who are studying accounts, right? Which of course maybe because Mauritius is an international financial center, and across the world, people are studying accounts, but with the objective that okay, they may want to, the perspective is that, they just want to do the bookkeeping or, manage the financial statement or create the end of year or end of period financial statement. And many times, these accountants are so engrossed into the detail. I'm talking specifically about accountants, that they miss the bigger picture of the business. Right? Hence, it becomes important that the business leader or the division leader also sees the financial statement from a slightly more vision-oriented perspective. And also at the same time, people who are studying accounts or working in the accounts sector or field, to have a slightly larger perspective of the organization, and not
Correct.
just delve so much into that Excel sheet or those numbers. What's your take perspective on that?
Yeah, actually, I completely agree. In fact, that is one of my motivations of putting together this course. Okay, so my intention of trying to put together this accounting basics is not to teach debit and credit, or what are the golden rules of accounting and things like that, which somebody can pick up from any book. Okay, and
Absolutely.
just read the thing, and or maybe there are videos also. So my attempt here has been to see how we can approach accounting, whether it is learning accounting or understanding accounting, from a business perspective. So, for example,
Definitely.
what I've tried to do is that I've tried to create a sample business. So, for example, today, because of COVID and all that, I took up a sanitizer business. So the idea was to say that, okay, there is a company which is starting a new sanitizer business in this current world. They believe there is profitability there. Okay, so what is the entire life cycle of transactions? What is it that's going to happen as a business? Right from the equity coming in or whatever, right up to production, sales, everything. What are the business? What is the business cycle? How that converts into a financial transaction, how that gets reflected as an asset, liability, income, expense, or what are these things, and finally what is a P&L balance sheet, and so this entire translation of a business to a transaction to a financial statement is what I would want to walk through with people.
Definitely.
And I have been very consciously, my conscious attempt is not to use the word debit or credit once in the entire session, because I have seen a lot of people getting a little, they have a block towards these terms. Okay, so they somewhere say that, oh, no, I don't. I mean, even in my company, there are very good, very intelligent people, but then when we start discussing account, they say that no, we don't understand debit, credit, and things like that. But then I think it's not about debit, credit. I think it's more about presentation and about the business conversion and stuff. So my attempt is to honestly try to bring that out. And if that is a takeaway, if the participants can take that away, so like you said, even as a student, okay, if somebody is just learning it in a very mechanical way, as compared to seeing this as a representation of business, I would like to share that perspective in the session. Okay, or there may be an investor. Okay, like we spoke about entrepreneur, but there are so many classes. So let's say I am an investor. Forget about being a professional equity research guy. Let's say I am a person who is investing in stock markets. I still need to understand the business of the organization, right? From a P&L, and how am I going to read it? So I cannot. Let's say you are the CEO of the company, so I cannot just ask you and you're not going to tell me. And
Definitely,
even if you say, how do I corroborate that, right? So I can go read up the P&L balance sheet. So if I have a perspective, I can read that. I will make some sense out of it. So I think in multiple contexts, I think it has relevance of understanding business. I mean, again, maybe I'm kind of repeating myself, but then the crux for me is that if I can help somebody understand business through accounting, which is the way it has helped me, I think it's productive actually. Yeah.
Definitely. And exactly, this is what we are trying to do on edVentr. It is basically, your 20-25 years of experience encapsulated into a 3-hour online workshop or a course. These are your experiences that you have gone through, your perspectives, your acquired knowledge, the mistakes that you have seen, the errors that you have seen, is something that, we are looking forward to learn from this session. And a very, very important point, you said that even while planning your investments, right? Even while planning your investments, especially in the equity or the debt market, if as an individual I'm looking at investing into the equity market, it is important that I'm able to see the organization from, as you say, the accounting perspective, which is a representation of business, right? And I may be making much more sound investment decisions, with this basic knowledge. Otherwise you just ask your stockbroker or your advisor that, which stock it is. You will be able to validate it.
Yeah.
right, yourself, just to see probably the PE ratio, or I mean, how the, as you said, the cash flow position of the organization is,
Yeah,
right, and or what the debt to equity ratio of the organization is, when you're investing into some organization.
absolutely.
So very interesting. So I mean, with regards to the course, just to inform everybody that Krishna is will be facilitating a course on accounting for non-finance professionals, for entrepreneurs, as well as for aspiring accountants who want to see account from a larger perspective, the perspective of a business leader or a business owner. And this will be hosted on edVentr. The details will be, wherever this video is posted, you can see the details of the workshop in the description or in the comment. And yes, we look forward to most of you who are watching this video to join in and see your business or your business initiative or your division from a slightly different perspective. And that perspective is the perspective of the financial statement of the organization. And Krishna, any closing remark for entrepreneurs, non-finance managers, or students, or whoever wants to get an idea of accounts?
I think I kind of said it. I kind of summarized it. So just to repeat, yes, let us. I mean, like I said, the intention is to look at this entire journey. Okay. Of so let's keep. I mean, let's approach this with an open mind and just try to see how we can look at accounting as a language to understand a business, and see if that is really helping us to move. So my intention is that at the end of the session, one should be a little more confident, or moves one step forward in terms of the exploring this entire financial world, or accounting world, or whatever that is. So if that is a simple objective, so if that can be achieved, I think that will be great. Yeah.
Excellent, Krishna. So I'm personally very much looking forward to your session.
Thank you so much.
And now that I've also taken the plunge of being an entrepreneur while learning adventure, it is important that we see the business holistically, and have a 360-degree perspective of how we are performing. So once again, thank you so much, and we will see you for your course.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. Yeah.